All right, so as you guys can see, this is a very large printer and it actually comes in 2 boxes. And to really show you the size of it, let's put this benchy here and there you go. The boxes are absolutely huge. Let's measure them. So we got 4 feet by 4.5 almost. So one of them is a little smaller, 1 foot and a couple inches, and the other one's a little larger or taller, 1 foot and about 5 inches. And they also weigh quite a bit, so moving them around is not that easy. So the 2 boxes house 2 different things. So the top one here, the smaller one, has the left and right Z-axis assembly, and the one on the bottom here, you guys can see it says bottom assembly, X, Y-axis assembly. So yeah, and we can see there's a picture showing what the printer looks like. There are handles on the side to make it easier to move around, and pretty much same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and cut the tape. Let's open this thing up. Got a pretty thick top layer, very large, and this is what we see. What's interesting is it's packed just like a smaller printer would be, with lots and lots of thick foam, which is quite impressive to say the least. And we can see the frame there of the upper gantry. The rods are huge, and this appears that it's the top layer as there's another layer beneath this. So I'm gonna have to carefully pull this out as I am a one-man show here and set it to the side, and we'll see what's underneath this layer. All right, so I got this layer out of the box just sitting here on the floor next to it, and this is what the layer below looks like. So it's just the other side of the upper section, and we can see it looks very similar to the other one with the motor and the way it all looks. So everything is very large and quite heavy duty. As you guys can see, this metal is really thick, so there's a lot of weight just to these pieces. So manhandling these out takes a little bit of effort. And check out those screw leads, wow, huge. And the rods are just giant. And it's nice to see that they're protected. So I'm gonna put this next to the wall and also get the other one out. All right, so this one's out and they actually can stand on their own. There's brackets holding them. I got the other one over here on this side. So we do still have a couple more pieces in here. Looks like the top braces. This one here has the Elegoo logo on it. But yeah, that's everything for this layer and this whole box. So now we can go to the bottom box. And yeah, guys, just take consideration that you will need a lot of space. All right, so we got the second box opened up. Let's see what's inside. All right, so we can see some accessories. We can also see another section there. And this looks like has our X-axis. As we can see, there's a chain here. Some kind of spool holder here. It looks like for the large spools. Smaller spool holder. Our hot end. We also get the sample of filament. And a box here with accessories. So yeah, it looks like there's another layer beneath this one. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this layer out and we'll see what's underneath. And in a bit, we're going to go through everything that's included here. All right, so we got all of our stuff out of there. We got a pretty large screen, but we'll check it out here in a second. Let's look at what's on the bottom layer. And here we can see we have the base. And we also have, it looks like some kind of build plate pieces or something. And underneath, we have the actual build plate that's in 4 sections. So I'm not too sure exactly what these are for, but they're shiny and they have holes on each side. So I'm sure they're for something, and we do get 2 of them. So yeah, that's quite unique how there's 4 different sections and you print on top of the whole thing. And also I'm guessing you can divide them here into 4 different prints also. So yeah, quite a unique design here for the Giga. The base does look pretty chunky. All right, so we got the base out and it was pretty heavy, and that is the bottom layer, and there appears to be nothing else under there. There's really thick foam underneath, which makes sense to protect it. Now, if I would do this again, I think I would stand this up and then walk this thing out, as it was a little too heavy to try to lift it out. Now, if you have 2 people, it shouldn't probably be a problem, but by yourself, it is quite heavy. So I'm gonna move the box out of the way. We'll kind of clean up here, and there's quite a lot of interesting things to see, especially about this thing. All right, so we got all our pieces here sitting by the wall, and I do have to say, this is definitely an impressive printer right out of the box. So while we have the base here against the wall, and it's just kind of leaning there, this will be a good time to look underneath, and the first thing that caught my eye is how many power supplies there are inside. And so we got voltage selectors here on each one. So there's 4 on top and 1 more down here that also has the voltage selection. And then the rest here, some venting, and I can see wiring through the holes. And I believe this is where maybe our motherboard is, or the main board. You can see our Wi-Fi coming out of there. And we do have another fan here to probably cool off the electronics inside. Now, another thing that's quite unique are these feet. They're very heavy duty. They are adjustable, so you can adjust these as needed according to, the level of your floor. And they are hard plastic. So they're made where you can slide the printer around, which is nice because this thing's going to be really heavy. And if you did need to move it, you would be able to with these kind of feet. And if we go down here to the center of it, we can see we got insulation, and that's the 4 build plates. So it is separated in 4 sections. So maybe it appears that the 4 power supplies are directly working for heating the plates separately. And then we have another power supply here that probably powers everything else up. But yeah, very unique here underneath. We have these aluminum channels that go through for bracing, and not just that, but our bed is connected there. You can see springs in between all here on all of the build plates. So it doesn't look like anything's adjustable from under here, and everything it looks like is pre-adjusted from the factory. And we also have this C channel kind of here, and we got wiring hiding behind inside there. So, but yeah, that's the base underneath. Quite interesting for sure. So let's take a quick look here. We saw that we have the filament, a large spool holder that rolls. So this is going to be for those 5 kilogram kind of spools. Yeah, you do get a normal one here. And then we got our hot end, which looks pretty interesting, pretty common, I would say. Nothing too special, to be honest. There's our induction sensor there. We've got some lights. Our nozzle, the heat block is insulated. It's quite long, so it's kind of like a volcano style. You can see the 2 fans there on each side. Our heat break there, electronics there on the back. So it is a little bit larger than you would expect, but for this kind of printer, it definitely feels a little small. So yeah, and the main part here, we have the touchscreen, and it's large. As you guys can see, it is an Elegoo screen, the same orange color, and it looks like it just clips on the back. And we do have a wire that comes out of it that will plug in to the main board. So the last thing here is we have our box, which comes with all of our accessories and our manual. So the manual looks to be very nice. We got the machine parameters there. Shows us and explains what everything is, the packing list, everything that's included, and then step by step of how to assemble it, which we'll be doing here shortly. So we got a lot of stuff in here. This looks like a filament guide and a detector, a bunch of bolts, quite a few different nozzles there, or maybe the same, I'm not sure. Would be nice if they were different size, but we can see the type of nozzle that is. And we also get a thumb drive and a little piece of PTFE tubing, more bolts, and they say what kind they are, even more bolts. So yeah, there's quite a few bolts to install. So here we have some kind of cable track clips and stops. A bag of tools, which comes with an open-ended wrench and Allen wrenches, and looks like a flat and Phillips screwdriver. Here we have another filament detector, which is different from this one. I think this is maybe for using it with the 5 kilogram spools. We got an Ethernet wire for lane connection, some zip ties, the power cord, very thick, and that's what it looks like. The US plug on the other end. Not too long, but it looks like about maybe 4 or 5 feet. Got a clean out needle. This is for the nozzle. More hardware, little bolts. Not sure what this is. And also, I guess we get a little gift which says giveaway on it with a little micro SD card in it, an adapter. So yeah, that's everything for the box. All right, so I brought the base down. So this is where all our power supplies are. And on this side, if you look over here, we got a little cap. And if you open that, there's like a circuit breaker in there. That's quite interesting. But I went ahead and took out the little bolts from this cover here because I'm very curious what's underneath. So this is not too hard to take apart. And it comes out, and you guys can see we have quite a few things to see. So on this end, we have this main circuit breaker where the power comes in, and this goes to the power switch. Here we have a junction box, fan here for cooling. So this is kind of random here, but we do have a power supply, its own fan. So this is one of the 5 power supplies, and they do appear all to be the 400 watts, 24 volt. So we have lots of wiring going everywhere. Here we have a junction for the high voltage. So this is the distribution between the main power to all of the power banks. And we can see how it comes in, thicker wires, and then it goes out. And going to this side, we have a cooling fan here that cools the main board. Another fan here. Over here we have some kind of logic. It's a maker base. That's the model number there. It goes here and connects to the main board, so there's quite a few things going on. So the board does look Giga specific, as that's what it's called, version 3.0. And yeah, everything looks very well connected here. Our stepper drivers are integrated. Yeah, very interesting. A lot more normal than I thought it would be. And here's our little antenna that goes out for the Wi-Fi. So yeah, quite interesting how it's all put together. So that's this side. Let's check out the other side, which was the top with the power supplies. And again, just take a few bolts and this thing pops off. And you guys can see we got power supplies all lined up. And each one is the 400 watt 24 volt, just like on the other side. And we do have a circuit here for powering on and off, looks like. And there's a fan next to each one. And yeah, it's just a repeat of 4 of them total here. So yeah, this is quite an interesting and unique way of how Elegoo decided to put it together.